You are now listening to the Q&E podcast.
Is this what you want? Huh? Is this what you want? I'm telling you, goddammit!
What's up, everybody? You are listening to the Q&E podcast. You are here with your boy Q Hicks right now. And I got Edgar on the other line. Edgar, tell the people what's good.
What's up, everybody? We got another episode of the Q&E podcast today, reviewing Invincible. This was episode 8. And I forgot the title of this one. You got the notes today. What was the title of episode 8?
Episode 8 is Where I Really Come From.
Yes, Where I Really Come From. We finally get the truth revealed with Omni-Man. We got the fight scenes that we wanted. You know, it wasn't too drawn out. I felt like this episode was perfect. The perfect amount of fighting, perfect amount of dialogue, a lot of emotions everywhere. Great way to end the season. I love how they ended the season showing every single person that will be involved in the next season. So it's a lot to look forward to. And a lot of our theories didn't come true with this episode, but there were a couple of our theories that still might be in play moving forward. So I definitely give this episode a 10 out of 10. I would just say it now.
Bro, I give this whole show a 10 out of 10. This is as close to perfect as you can get with a show, bro. When you get with the graphics, with the storyline, the plot, the character development, everything that you get with this show, I feel is a 10 out of 10. You can nitpick here and there, but I've loved every single episode, and it continued to get better each episode throughout the season. I love this shit, and oh boy, this nigga Omni-Man is something different, my boy. We knew Omni-Man was an op, but I didn't know this nigga was so ruthless that he was showing in this episode, bro. And a lot of people, in past episodes were trying to compare him to Homelander from the show The Boys. But this nigga is way worse than Homelander, my nigga. This nigga is on that Superman level, but he's really on that bad guy shit. Like, that nigga a bad guy Superman, for real, for real.
I'm about to say, he worse than Superman to me. Like, he's past, like, Omni-Man versus Superman? I'm damn near gonna pick Omni-Man.
Me too. Me too, bro. Because I'm like, bro, Omni-Man ain't gonna have no weakness in his heart, my nigga. Especially, he kind of gave up on Mark at the end, but he was still wailing on Mark ass the whole episode. But he kind of gave up on Mark because he was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go back to my planet and regroup. But he was wailing on his son. So if you try to put somebody he don't really give a fuck about in his way, oh my nigga, he finna dig in your shit. For real. He finna dig in your shit, boy. So I love this episode for real, man. So what was your predictions coming into it?
Predictions. I know we both predicted that Debbie would die, and that would kind of like be the catalyst for Mark. Debbie did not die. Mark did kind of reach a catalyst during the fight. I don't know if you remember, but when the building collapsed and all of that, he had a burst. Like, he had one of those few bursts that we've seen throughout the show. And he actually got some licks in on Omni-Man. So the scene didn't come that I wanted where Omni-Man hits Mark and Mark looking at him.
It was the opposite.
It was the exact opposite. So my prediction was wrong with that. I thought the Guardians were going to play a part in fighting against them. That didn't happen. So like I said, a lot of my predictions, I know for a fact, didn't come to fruition. But still, I was very pleased with the episode.
And I agree with you on most of your predictions. So yeah, about the same. Damn, bro. I really thought Debbie was gonna die, but honestly, with what I seen this episode, with him calling her a pet and how he really don't give a fuck about her life, that's worse than death to me, bro. I'm gonna chalk that up as that's worse than death. Because now she has to go on with her life knowing that she wasted 20 years with a nigga that didn't give a fuck about her, and she's always gonna have that in the back of her mind. And then for the future niggas that she messed with, she gonna be like, damn, can I really trust you like that? The last nigga I was with, you know, he didn't really give a fuck about me. So she gonna have to carry that for years and years now with that type of baggage. So I'm like, that shit might have been worse than death, my nigga. I don't know. That shit hurt, my nigga. That shit hurt me.
He said that shit. I'm like, bro, what? Like he told that to his son. He literally told it, your mother is just like a pet to me. He was like, don't you love me? Don't you love mom? He took that long pause. I was like, yo, he finna just say it. Just say no. Just say no.
Bruh.
Crazy,
that shit was nuts, bro. That shit was nuts. But the biggest plot points of this show was the truth is revealed about Viltrum and its motives. We seen that they had like a flashback of him fighting in Viltrum and like their process after how they have to fight against each other, like real warrior type styles, and you have to knock off the weak. And that's the same thing Omni-Man was trying to do on Earth, and that's why we find out that's why he killed the Guardians of the Globe, because he just thought them niggas was too weak and wasn't on his level. So he's like, no need to spare them niggas. Omni-Man leaves after beating Mark as he leaves, and the villains are piling up for season 2. I think we've seen about 6 or 7 different villains at the end of season 1. Because we've seen, I think I wrote them down. Give me 1 second. Because I know we've seen the Mauler twins ended up going back to jail. Sinclair was working for the GDA. It was a villain from Mount Rushmore. We don't even know his name yet. But the villain from had the red suit on. That bald dude. Yeah, bald dude from Mount Rushmore. The aliens returning that day. We see them niggas already. They're coming back for round 4. And we had the squid dogs, bro. I forgot about the squid dogs,
I did
bro.
too.
I forgot about this Titan ass. Oh my, bro. It was so much that happened this season, bro.
Battle Beast coming back.
Oh my goodness, bro. It was so many people in this season, bro. Oh my goodness, I love this show. But how the episode started off was Mark and Omni-Man were fighting, and Mark thinks he's being controlled, and Omni-Man finally tells Mark the truth, and Viltrum is fucking savage. Hey, what was your reaction to that first fucking scene, bro?
Bro, this honestly gave me thoughts of Thanos when it came to Avengers. They kind of had similar mindsets as the Titans in the MCU when it came to Thanos. Thanos basically was saying how other planets are weak. It's time to divide the weak from the strong. And you see on Viltrum, they were literally killing each other to kill off the weakest people. And Omni-Man even said it. He was like, half of our population was slaughtered, but the other half of us that made it, we thrived. We were the strongest. We were the most adaptable. And that's literally like some Thanos type shit. Eliminate half the population, find out who's weak and who's strong, and elevate the remaining people that are left. So I'm like, Viltrum is fucking crazy, bro. Like, and the way they attack different planets, and the fact that they didn't even need armies to like take control of planets, so they could literally send one Viltrumite to each planet. I'm like, bro, that's crazy as fuck.
Just needed one Viltrumite. But what I realized was Viltrumites can die. So even though they have that blood, I don't know if they can just be killed by each other, but I know they can die because I know they were killing each other in that flashback scene. But I was like, I wonder if the Immortal could have actually beaten Omni-Man, or if the Immortal could actually beat somebody else from Viltrum. And I think they can, and from what we've seen with the flashback, but I still don't know. Because that's what I was wondering when I was seeing Mark get his ass beat by Omni-Man. I was like, could Mark actually die from this, or will that Viltrumite shit that we learned in a few episodes ago about Mark not being able to die just not matter?
I think he can die, like you said. Maybe the GDA's methods about how they were trying to figure out how to kill him, maybe those methods just weren't working. They were using like real basic ass scientific ways to figure out what like could eliminate their blood cells and things like that. So I'm like, y'all doing it a real basic kind of DNA type of way, when honestly it just needs to be power matching power. That honestly needs to be what it is. Like, and we've seen that with the Immortal Man. He had just as much power as Omni-Man. Well, not as Omni-Man, but he was sticking with Omni-Man due to the fact that their strength matched. So if you can match the strength, you can low-key beat these niggas. And we seen that with the Monster too. The Monster came back jacked up on muscle juice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mark damn near had to come save his daddy, because his daddy was probably gonna die if that monster was fighting him by itself.
Yeah, bro, that fucking scene was crazy, bro. Because I remember when I asked you last week who was going to win the fight, you had ended up saying Invincible. But then I had answered, I was like, I truly don't know, because I don't think it has really kicked into Invincible's mind how he can take off his daddy. Like in Omni-Man's mind, Omni-Man knows that anything in his way, he's going to destroy. So that nigga Omni-Man gonna kick anybody ass. And I don't think Mark was really ready to face his daddy at this moment yet. I thought maybe the catalyst would have been his mom dying, but even I don't even think that would have worked how Omni-Man was, bro. Omni-Man was on a fucking bee in this episode. So Omni-Man, I don't think I've seen anything like this. I love the graphics of this shit, because that one scene where he put Mark fucking face inside of a fucking train was one of the craziest scenes I've ever fucking seen, dog.
And it was so unnecessary. He didn't.
It was.
It was so unnecessary. All this to prove a point. all of this to prove a point.
It was so unnecessary, bro. But he wanted to prove to that nigga that these lives are meaningless, bro. He was trying to prove it that point the whole time. And Mark was like, no, I actually care.
But one more thing in this scene before we get to the next one. Did you notice how he told Mark that Viltrumite blood is so pure that he's damn near full-blooded? I thought that was crazy because, okay, I'm still questioning. I remember we talked about this last episode. I'm still questioning how he can't breathe in space. I'm like, you just said he
can breathe in space.
He can?
Yeah, at the end of the episode, he was breathing in space with old boy. When he was talking to old boy at the end.
I thought he was just holding his breath. Oh, okay.
No, he had his mask on. Oh no, he didn't have a mask on, but he just went up there with his regular costume. But he didn't have anything over his mouth or nothing.
Oh, all right. Shit.
So I'm going to assume that he could, because they was having a pretty long conversation from what I was assuming. It was a pretty long conversation.
I don't know why they had him holding his breath in them other episodes, man. That shit ain't make sense to me.
Yeah. But I think he can breathe now because he's just like his dad, bro. So being full-blooded, but that shit was crazy that he could live for 1,000,000 years and shit like that, or for thousands of years. So that was the point that Omni-Man was really trying to stick to him. Like, right. These niggas don't matter because you're going to be way past these niggas. You're going to be 1,000 and they're going to be dead. And they're going to be like, it's going to be like a speck on your lifespan. Like, they're not even going to matter to you when you look back in 500 years. And he was just like, no, like, that doesn't matter to me. Humanity still matters. Like, you just can't kill anybody just to take over, bro. So Mark's morals against that nigga Omni-Man's morals was fucking crazy. And that was the battle of the episode, bro. That shit was nuts. All right, then the showdown begins. Omni-Man is fucking crazy, and Mark slowly tapping into his power. So this is when the actual fight starts to begin?
Yeah, this is when they got to Chicago. That's why I put that.
I was about to say this is when Omni-Man he punched this nigga to Chicago. What kind of shit? And where do they actually stay? We never find out where they stay.
Damn, good question. Where do they stay? I think this is one of those shows where they stay by everywhere, and even though they stay nowhere, like I think it's one of those situations.
That shit was crazy. Yeah, wait, well. He punched that nigga Invincible all the way to Chicago. He had put that nigga face in, punched that nigga Chicago. And when he got hit, he had ended up hitting a building. He had ended up rolling all the way on the streets and all of that. And the building starts to fall. Like a lot of shit is collapsing. And Omni-Man continues to try to beat up his son's ass. But the city of Chicago is getting torn to pieces at this point. And what else happened in this scene? This is when the shit started to fall down. He tries to save the two lives between the woman and her kid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that shit was so fucking crazy, bro. How did you feel about that scene?
It proved Omni-Man's point of you can't save everybody. Like he was really trying to get him to understand. Look, I understand you love your human life, you love these people and everything, but they're going to die, my nigga. I'm killing everybody. Like I need you to understand what's going to happen. You can't save everybody. And Mark truly got a dose of that with that building situation because he was only trying to save 2 lives. It's not like he was trying to save the whole building anymore, really. And it's the fact that you couldn't even save those 2 lives. Mark learning real quick, fast, and in a hurry. You can't save everybody, and you just have to do your best and just be able to move on from shit. So
I was wondering why Mark. I was wondering why Mark didn't actually take the 2 people and like fly off. I felt like he was capable of taking them and flying off and not just trying to hold on to the mom and then get the girl. It's like, I feel like he was wasting time. Like he could have grabbed both of them and flew off.
Because I think he was trying to let everybody running, like clear the area. Because if he just would have grabbed them and just let the building fall, all those people that were there would have got crushed. Granted, a lot of them got crushed anyway.
They died anyway.
But he was trying to let as many people run away as possible before the building just fell.
And that scene was so fucking nuts, bro. When he had the building ended up falling down and Mark was just left holding the woman's hand. Right there, you just see Omni-Man come down like, I tried to tell your stupid ass, like, this shit ain't it. Wait, hey, you gonna lose lives in the process, my nigga. Like, it's nothing that you can really do. And I'm just like, damn. This nigga Mark is learning really fast about this lifestyle. And you're starting to notice that in the intros, it's more and more blood being sprinkled on the intros. It used to be blue and now it's black.
I didn't know if that was like a hint to a costume change for next season. Are they gonna keep him in the same costume? Because I think in the comics he has the same costume throughout the whole time. Yeah. Are they gonna mix it up though? I feel like they should mix it up and go a little different from the comics and like change his outfit or something. I feel like that'll be cool.
I think it was more so to I think that shit would be solid because I was thinking the same thing in the back of my mind because his dad wear white and red, and I was like, what if this shit is like black and red or some shit for blood or
Yeah,
something?
that's what
I
I'm
was thinking.
saying.
I was thinking the same thing, but I think it was just more so like speaking of the blood on his hands and shit like that, because that shit is crazy, and I think it's been like that the whole season, but this is like the first time I really noticed it for real, like blood just keep being splattered on the damn screen, because that nigga lost a lot of lives in this shit.
It's kind of like Snowfall. Like every episode of Snowfall, the word Snowfall starts burning more and more to where it's not even there by the time the final episode comes.
Yeah. And then we get to the next scene where Omni-Man was straight welling on this nigga for like damn near 20 minutes. 20 minutes straight, my nigga. I really would not even call this shit a fight. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a fight because Mark only got a few hits in, my nigga. Omni-Man was wailing on this nigga, bro. I wouldn't even call it a fight. But this is when we get to him in Chicago. All the buildings ended up falling down. And Omni-Man ends up beating this nigga Mark, and he puts his face into the ground, and they end up going into like the subway section of Chicago. And then this is when we get to the part of Mark being inside of like the train way. And then like once again, we have Omni-Man putting his face into the ground. He was like, Mark, I'm trying to tell you that all of these lives don't matter. Like these niggas do not matter. He was just like, no, I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna keep fighting. And then that's when we get the train scene. The train comes over. That nigga puts his Mark face into the train. Crazy. Oh my goodness. That shit was so fucking graphic.
They were standing so still, bro. They didn't even have to move. And I'm like, bro, these Viltrumites are powerful. He was like, Mark, we don't even have to waste a fraction of our power to like really kill these people. Like we can literally just stand here and they can run through us and they'll die before we even feel damage. And I'm just looking like, bro, that type of power is scary, bro. Like,
and we even skipped the scene because one of my craziest scenes of this shit is when he ended up killing one of the dudes that was flying in the plane. Oh my god, bro! So he ends up tearing up the plane, and then the dude ends up falling out of the plane, and he's like in the ejector seat, and he really can't parachute away. But Mark ends up saving him, letting him loose from the seat. So Mark was like, "Okay, you good now?" Omni-Man drops down, squishes the nigga's face in front of Mark. Oh my god, that shit was
crazy.
Bro. That shit was crazy. And that shit did not affect him at all, bro. Omni-Man squished that nigga face. He was like, damn, where the other one at? And went straight on to his mission. He said, went straight to find the other one. I was like, bro, Omni-Man was on 10.
This man, Mark, said he had a family. And then Omni-Man talk about whether he dies now or 50 years later, is there really a difference? I'm like, bro, what? Yeah, bro. You know how heartless that is? Like, come on, bro. This shit was amazing. The graphics in this were just, oh my gosh.
And you said it earlier in the episode, bro. I love that this fight was so drawn out, bro. And I said that at the end of the last recap. I didn't want this shit to be no short fight, 10-minute Omni-Man beating his ass. I want this shit to be drawn out and let Mark really get the message of the power that his father has, my nigga. Because he be taking his father. I don't think he take his father for like any like weakness or anything like that. But I don't think he knew his father's true like potential. Because, oh my goodness, boy. Mark gonna feel that shit. Next time he fight Omni-Man, he gonna be prepared.
Yes,
my
sir.
Nigga was not prepared. My nigga was not prepared this time, boy. My nigga was not prepared.
Plus, it was like, that's his daddy too. So he really he was trying to talk to his daddy half of the time that he was fighting him. He wasn't really trying to go head up with his daddy.
Mark was crying damn near most of the fight.
Yeah.
Mark was, that's why I was like, it really was. That's why I said I really wouldn't call it a fight because, like, yeah, Mark got his hits in here and there. But the nigga was crying the whole time. When they first was talking, Mark was crying. Then that's how he got his ass hit to Chicago. And then when the building had fell down, he was holding the lady arm. Mark was crying. His dad pushed his face into the subway. And then he crying at the end when they was in the mountains. The whole time this nigga Mark was crying. So I was like, it really wasn't a fight. It was just Omni-Man trying to teach this nigga a lesson. Bro.
Because he's still trying to process all of this while he's fighting. And me and Denisha was talking about it. Denisha was like, I wanted him to beat his ass so bad. And I'm like, you got to understand, Mark is trying to process all this shit at one time. We've been seeing this for the whole show. And everybody else is known for however long they've known. Literally, Mark is the only person really left in the blind at this point. So I'm just like, man, he trying to process this shit. That's really why he's not trying to swing on his daddy.
That nigga Mark, boy. And yeah, we already talked about the scene where Omni Man ended up calling his mom a pet, and that's another reason why he was crying at the beginning as well. All right, what's next? What's next? What's next? All right, now we get to the part of Omni Man leaves when he sees that he can't kill Mark. So we all the way in the mountains at this point because they fly out there and he tries to beat his ass out there. So you hear so this nigga was beating his ass so much that you can hear the echoes of the punches from miles away because you seen the screen just backing up.
Exactly.
That shit was nuts. And that nigga Omni Man was just wailing on Mark ass. Shit was crazy. That nigga Mark was bloodied up and shit. Mark wasn't fighting back at this point. He was done for. He was trying to stand up and fight with his pops. And that nigga was like, okay.
You know what move was raw as fuck? When Mark was laid out and then Omni-Man, it's the mountain in the background. Omni-Man punched his chest in and caused the crack to go up the mountain and cause the avalanche. I'm like, what the fuck? That was the hardest move of the whole fight. I'm like, bro, what? That shit was crazy as fuck.
That shit was nuts, bro. So he wailing on Mark ass. And in the middle of this, we get a flashback. We get a flashback to them, to Mark being a child and him and Debbie being at the baseball game or something like that. And Omni-Man really didn't understand like humanity for real. He didn't want to be at the game. He didn't like the weakness. He's so used to his planet of fights and some people being weak, some people being strong. He didn't like what he was seeing with the humanity. It was just too simple and too basic for him. But then he really started to learn the true extent of humanity when he seen Mark playing baseball. He understood the happiness of a child and how much happiness that can bring to the parents as well. And that was the lesson that Debbie was trying to give him. Mark ends up hitting the baseball. He ends up, having an inside the park home run. And then you see Omni-Man and Mark, having a father-son moment. And in that scene, I said this is one of the funniest scenes of the shit. Because when Mark was a jit, he had two teeth. It wasn't his two front teeth, but it was like two of his side teeth in. And then we cut, two snagger tooth. And then we get back to the actual scene of Omni-Man beating his ass, and he has those same teeth in his mouth. So he still didn't have any front teeth because Omni-Man bust them shits up, bro. And that shit was so fucking funny to me, bro.
Bro, that shit was crazy, bro. I'm looking like the most cutthroat shit this man said, other than Debbie was a pet, was fine. If I gotta kill you to get the job done, that it is what it is. What's another 17 years? I could just
That's
make
what
another
I was about
son.
to say.
He said I could just make another son, and I'm like, bro, what? And you're saying this while you're trying to kill him right now? Like you're beating the life out of him, saying I can have another son. Like, what the fuck is another 17 years? And I'm like, bro, that's just crazy as fuck to me. I couldn't even.
Nigga's different, bro. Yeah, and I wrote that down in my notes too. That this nigga is ruthless, bro. I've never seen anything like him to say that I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna make another one just so he gonna be stronger than you. That shit is different, bro. Ain't too many niggas doing that shit like Omni-Man, bro. Ain't too many niggas doing that. And then that's when we get Omni-Man leaves when he sees that he can't. I don't think he left because he couldn't kill Mark. I think he actually started to feel the emotion of the moment, and he didn't.
Oh, that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said he couldn't.
Yeah, he didn't want to kill him because he was just like, you my son. I don't want to kill you. So he ends up flying away and assumingly going back to Viltrum and regrouping, I guess, for the next battle when he tries to conquer Earth later down the line.
And
Mark is in
another line that was very emotional when he kept asking him. He was like, in 500 years, who the fuck are you gonna have? And he was like, I'll still have you, Dad. And I'm like, come on, bro. You can't kill him after he say that, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, you literally just told this man he finna outlive everybody else in his life. You finna outlive your mama. You finna outlive your friends, all your other family, every other creature on this planet you're going to outlive. Who the fuck you gonna have after that? These people's lives are meaningless. He was like, bro, you my dad. I'll still have you at the end of the day. And he started crying and he just left. And I'm like, you can't kill your son. You can't kill him.
I didn't understand that because I'm like, this nigga beating your ass. You understand that he's a traitor. Like, I ain't even fucking with this nigga after that. I don't give a fuck if you my pops either at that point, bro. I don't even give a fuck that you my pops.
But that's
so when
what
he
I'm
said
saying.
I'll still have you, I'm just like, man, fuck that nigga Omni-Man.
But that's,
I ain't gonna have that nigga.
But that's what Mark thinking right now. Mark, that's what I'm saying. Mark is still trying to process all this shit right now. Like, it's different with us because we've seen this leading up the entire time. In that exact moment, if you find out in 20 minutes what your daddy's real life and real motives are, it's gonna be hard for you to just flip into, all right, fuck you, I don't need you no more. After you just spent 18 years of your life loving this nigga. You can't, come on, bro. You mean to tell me you gonna flip that fast and just be like, all right, fuck you then? Like, that's
fuck
still,
that nigga. You beating my ass like this too?
That's still your
what am I supposed to take this ass whooping for? Is this supposed to be punishment? Is this punishment, Dad? Man, fuck that nigga Omni, man. You call my pop's mom. First of all, you call my mom's a pet and say her life is meaningless. Oh, fuck you at that point. Process. I ain't no need to process that, bro. When a nigga say your mom's life is meaningless, there's nothing to process.
I'm saying
it's nothing to process.
I'm just saying he confused as fuck right now. Like
he's
confused while getting his ass beat. So it's hard for him to just say fuck you right now. You trying to understand why he's trying to understand why I need to say fuck you before he just says fuck you. Like that's what's going through Mark's head at this point. It's like, you still my dad. Like, I feel like you could turn this shit around, because he basically was telling him the whole fight. He was like, you can stop this. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. You can still like make a difference. And Omni Man was like, nah, it's too late. Like, everybody already seen me do bullshit. So it is what it is at this point. I'm like, come on, bro. I don't know. That part was too emotional.
That shit was emotional though. That shit was. Cause like I said, in the back of my head, I'm just like, man, fuck that nigga. But you still, like you said, he's trying to process the shit. He still care about his pops, even though his pops doing him dirty in this moment. He still care about that nigga. So yeah, I definitely understand it. But the Guardians end up taking action. Because for the most of this episode, for the first half, they really were like on hold until Cecil really tried to call them out there to actually stop Omni-Man, but they never were called upon. And then they had to take the initiative and go to Chicago and end up helping everybody and try to actually save some lives. And it's funny because the scene that we get later in the episode, when they actually come back and they are tired from that event, I was like, this is the first real hero work that them niggas actually did. Because this is the first time that they actually saved lives and didn't hurt any more lives in the process. Most of the time, these niggas are just trying to defeat a villain, and then the collateral is the rest of the people, other lives. They really don't give a fuck. Like, we seen that when Black Samson was talking about that a couple of episodes ago. But in this one, they actually tried to save people, and that's why them niggas was so tired and they was laid out and all that shit. So that's what I had got from that scene, bro.
And the most OG part about that scene, I love this. Rexplode finally decided it's time to wash the blood off this fucking wall. Because Rexplode, in his mind and the rest of the Guardians' mind, all right, we earned this shit now. We really get to be labeled as Guardians of the Globe at this point. And Black Samson tested him. He was like, we ain't earned it yet. Don't wash that shit off. And when everybody was about to jump Black Samson, he looked at them niggas like, all right, now we look like a team for real. Like, now y'all giving me the vibe that y'all willing to do shit for each other and not just individually for yourselves. So that was probably like one of my favorite parts of the episode too. Cause I'm like, yeah, they earned to wash the blood off the wall at this point.
You know why I didn't like that from Black Samson? Because Monster Girl had ended up wasting one of her changes on that bullshit. We wasted a change on that? She turned into a monster for that bullshit? You testing me? You're testing me? I was definitely thinking about that. No, now she about to be 12 because this nigga want to fuck around. All right, bitch.
Nobody was thinking about it.
I really put that in my notes. I'm like, my nigga wasted a change on that? Man, that's the first thing I thought of. My nigga wasted a change.
Well, I mean, she was doing it in training anyway, so shit.
And that was something, but she said she can do training once a day. She just can't do it multiple times in a day. So I was like, okay, that made more sense. If that niggas would have did that multiple times, I'm just like, she doing that shit way too much. And it was interesting to see that Rudy Connors, he jumped back into a robot's body. So he's just not using like the Neuralink. And this actually can go into a further theory. He's trying to hide that he can have other control of robots. I think he's trying to hide that. He's not trying to let niggas know that he can control all of these robots that we see in last episode. Because he can control all of these shit. He probably has robots all over the city, but he doesn't want them to know. He just wants them to know that he probably has a couple and that's it. So I still feel like this nigga Rudy Connors has a master plans under all of this shit. He trying to bullshit everybody right now because he trying to do this for Monster Girl, be a part of Guardians of the Globe, but he still is a op, my nigga. I do not trust this nigga at all.
I don't know. I feel like I was wrong. I feel like I don't think he's gonna be a villain moving forward. I think he just wanted to be accepted for who he truly was, and now that he kind of is now by the Guardians, and he's training with them now and everything, I feel like shit gonna be good because I feel like he's still going to try and find a cure for Monster Girl. I think I'm debunking my theory of him being a major villain moving forward, and I honestly think that Robot will be a leader of the Guardians of the Globe still. I feel like he's still an important piece to them, and he won't go evil.
I still don't feel like there's a big enough evil other than Omni-Man, and I feel like Rudy Connors would have to take over that. Somebody would have to be under Omni-Man because all of these villains that we seen at the end, I feel like those will be villains that we see for an episode, they get defeated, and then we moving on to the next one. They get defeated, we moving on to the next one. I feel like there are those type of villains, but we need somebody that's plotting some shit in the background for the whole season. And I feel like Rudy Connors will be that character that is plotting some shit, some big shit that nobody's really thinking about because they're trying to fight everybody that's in front of them with the Marlowe twins could be breaking out again. We got the dude from Mount Rushmore. We got the aliens coming back. So they're going to be so worried about them, but you're going to be looking at Rudy Connors like, oh, Rudy Connors trying to get some shit. He might be trying to take over some shit. And you still got to worry about Omni-Man. So you worry about everything else. Rudy Connors finna get what the fuck he want. I don't know what he wants, but he could still be trying to take over this shit, bro. For real, for real. All right, and then we got the Marlowe twins end up burning their lab to the ground, but they still go to prison, and the GDA ends up finding Mark. And then we get to the next scene where Mark wakes up in the hospital with his mom. Cecil updates Debbie on how their life will be moving forward. Did you have anything on that?
No, I just thought it's really showing how the GDA is basically like S.H.I.E.L.D. and the same way Nick Fury can tell people, look, we'll have your family straight with this. We'll make sure we have this story for this person that died or this person that disappeared and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, he really on some Nick Fury type shit. So that's all I got from that.
And sadness has taken over everyone's life. The Guardians are growing stronger as a team. And is this the scene where we get to Mark ends up going back home? Is this that scene?
Not yet. I think it was a scene before. The scene before that was when he took him into the White Room.
Oh, okay. I know you're talking about White Room. Then he turned on the lights, and then you see everything that was going on in there. Okay, yeah. Okay, I wanted to talk about that.
That's why I put that conspiracy theory shit there. That's why I put that conspiracy theory.
Okay. Oh, it's the next one I'm looking at. Okay. So after 2 weeks, Mark is back to full health, and Cecil is giving out conspiracy theory gems. So what do you think is going on in that White Room? And I think that's some shit that really does happen in America with that tap water shit. That was some shit that really happens. That is some shit that really happens, bro.
Conspiracy theory gems, because I've heard so many people say before they're putting chemicals in the water. They said it in Us too. Remember the daughter in Us when they was going to the beach? She was like, "Did you guys know the government puts chemicals in water to control people's minds?" And I'm like, what? So the fact that they showed that shit in Invincible, and Cecil was like, "You'd be surprised how much shit we use this for." And I'm like, bro, what? Bro, they can't be dropping gems like that in the show, bro. They can't.
I fuck with that, but I fuck with what was going on inside of the actual White Room because they was working on the Immortal. They was working on a lot of shit. They was working on like bat wings, like how much shit he could take with like laser beams. It was a whole lot of shit going on. At first, I thought that was
You thought it was like some kryptonite shit.
Nah, bro. I thought it was some damn. What's the shit with the head? What was dude from the head? What was the villain with the head? He had the mask on. He was fighting against Titan.
Oh, he was that boss dude.
Yeah.
The robot head person, machine head.
I thought that was machine head because when they first give you like the White Room, you can see it. And it was somebody to the left. And there was somebody like working on some like a conveyor belt type shit. And from the side, that shit looked like Machine Head. I was just like, is that Machine Head? I'm like, damn. I don't think it was because everybody else was like wearing a mask in there, but I thought that was Machine Head at first. And Hikey got me hyped. I'm like, oh, they didn't take this nigga to jail. I'm like, this nigga really out and about and all that bullshit. Because we seen the same thing with Sinclair. Like Sinclair isn't in jail. Like this nigga is helping the government make more of those cyborgs and shit. So I'm like, he might be doing the same thing with Machine Head. I don't know. Because the machine head could be valuable to them like that if they give him that little chip or whatever.
And Saint Clair was kind of looking like he's not really a villain anymore either. Like he was looking like, hey, I get to still do what I want with these machines, and I don't gotta go to jail. I'm working for the government. I'm getting a check. Yeah, I'm fine.
And I knew they was on that bullshit anyway when they said, yeah, we're gonna give him the usual, lock him up and throw away the key. I'm like, them niggas ain't finna lock that nigga up. Even if they were gonna lock him up, he was gonna get out. It was gonna be some shit like that. But I knew that nigga wasn't gonna be in jail.
I don't think he's necessarily out. I think he's locked. He's on lockdown, but he gets to do what he wants at the same time.
And that's what he wanted to do anyway. That nigga a creep. That nigga want to do that cyborg shit, work with niggas' bodies and all that shit. And they also had enhanced bodies as well in the flashback when we seen not flashback, but when we see Sinclair working on the cyborgs. They had like metal bodies now. I don't remember him having like glossy metal bodies. Like that shit is new and enhanced.
It was like the 2.0 version of the shit he was doing. And I'm like, hey,
yeah,
put up some real fights for it. And you see they're making an army of them like soldiers. I'm like, yeah, them shit's gonna be pressure.
Yeah, them shits was fire. But you said you thought it was kryptonite in there.
Yeah, I thought that's what you was talking about because they showed like a rock that they were firing a laser beam at and nothing was happening to the rock. So I thought that's what you was talking about because remember I said I thought Viltrum was going to play a part in the final episode because I said, what if Cecil has like something from Viltrum or something like that Omni-Man never knew about that could play a weakness. I thought it was going to be like that, like some Viltrumite or kryptonite type shit.
And what do you think that they're doing with Immortal right now, bro? You think they're finna juice him up or something? No pain center like they did with the monster?
Well,
I feel like that's what they can be doing.
I don't know if they'll do that to him because I mean he's human. So not human, but he's I'll say human. He's human basically. So he ain't no monster that you just gotta jack up with juice. You could just talk to him and figure out what he wants to like help him like get more strength, I guess.
That nigga Immortal. I don't know.
They just putting them back together at this point.
Yeah, it looked like they were just putting them back together. But I was just like, if y'all doing this with Immortal, because we seen the dude face Batwing, the dude who was wearing the mask, he was like the Batman of the Justice League or whatever. We seen his face. So I'm just like, are they trying to bring back everybody from the old Guardians of the Globe, or are they just trying to do Immortal because he's immortal?
I think just Immortal because the rest of them, like, they died. Like, they're not coming back. So
crazy as fuck. And Debbie and Mark end up returning home. And Amber and Mark, get the scene to Amber and Mark are back together. And Debbie visit the suit. Oh, this is another scene I want to talk about. Amber and Mark back together. And this is when Will and also Adam Eve end up popping up at his house as well. When Amber ends up popping up to the house, she says, I'm going to be Detective Amber. My fucking high beams went on. Alert. Why the fuck did she say that? Why did she say that? Detective Amber. Then I started doing my research. I said, Detective Amber. Is she going to be the new Batgirl? Is she going to be Batgirl? Will she be Batgirl, bro? Yes. I think Amber will be the new Batgirl because look, why would she say I'm going to be Detective Amber? That's just like some weird words. You know what I'm saying? After what she talked to Mark. I'm just
I ain't look too deep into it. I
think Amber will be Batgirl, bro, or be some type of Oracle, because in the comics, Batgirl was somebody who was always a detective, really snooping around, seeing where things were at alongside Batman and also Nightwing. And she also played the role of the Oracle as well. The Oracle was somebody who just knew she knew where everything was at. She had eyes and ears really everywhere. And she was like in a lab where it was like a whole bunch of computers and shit. So I could see her doing the Oracle shit or the Batgirl shit because you don't need powers for that. Like, old girl didn't have powers. She was just around being a good detective. And I think that's the same thing that we're going to see with Amber, bro, because everybody's going to be fighting. She sees Adam Eve. She sees Mark. She wants to be a part of that. So I think she's going to be a part of it in that role, in that Batgirl role.
I can see it. That's cool. That's a good theory. I ain't think about that because I honestly didn't look that deep into it.
Because I'm like, bro, they ain't saying that shit for nothing, bro. Detective Amber. Nah, my hobbies was on. So, yeah, we get Amber and Mark.
I thought she was just saying in a joking manner.
Yeah, because that's when she had told him, you told me your dad had died in a gas blow up across the street, so I just put the shit together. And she was like, Detective Amber. I'm like, nah. That shit meant something. That shit definitely meant something. Now I'm gonna be mad if it doesn't mean something, but hopefully we see her in a Batgirl type shit next episode. I would be happy because we've been seeing a whole lot of Justice League references. So why not? Why not see a Batgirl pop up? I would like that. And then we see Debbie visit the Soup Man. She's really just venting to him, getting her frustration out. She really doesn't have anybody to talk to. When Mark ended up leaving her at the house, she was crying because she's trying to process all this shit too. She been with this nigga Omni Man for 20 years and all that bullshit, and you just left holding the bag for real, bro. So how did you feel about her scene?
And that's what I'm saying, bro. Debbie feels the same way. It's like she can't just say fuck Nolan, like after everything, even though she said fuck Nolan, like when she found out he killed the Guardians, it wasn't fuck you in a sense of I don't want anything to do with you. It was in a sense of how could you do this? I can't believe you. Like, I still love you. You my husband still. Like, and then Mark, like, you my dad still. We can't really believe the shit that you're telling us. So yeah, we're pissed off at you, but we still love you at the end of the day. We can't just act like the past 20 years just didn't happen. So that's why I think Debbie's going through and Mark are going through.
Crazy as fuck, man. And then we see the Soup Man end up throwing away the picture of him and Omni Man. Like he doing that nigga too. So everybody just trying to move on from Omni Man at this point, bro. Because it's just that nigga really fucked over everybody at this point. He lied to everybody, and now he want to fly back to his planet. And now we got to process everything that we just been through for the past 20 years. That nigga fucking them up. And Mark ends up venting to the gang when they had ended up going to the little diner or whatever. And then we get to the next scene where Mark tells Alan, the alien, what happened. Because Alan, the alien, ends up trying to fly back to Earth to tell Mark about everything that was going down, that he had a Viltrumite on the planet. But obviously, Mark already knows it at this point. So they just sit down and have a conversation on everything that's been going on leading up to it and how he was related to Omni-Man and shit like that. And yeah, that was really like the end of the season. So how did you feel about that closing scene?
I loved it because that's when we see all the villains rounding up for the next season. You know, I feel like shit's going to be epic. And I feel Mark, it's going to be a situation where Mark has to slightly become what he doesn't want to become to be able to beat Omni-Man.
I think so too.
He's going to have to Mark has to get ruthless. That's the only way he going to beat Omni-Man. Mark has to get that sensitive part out his body of not wanting to really hurt people and be cutthroat. That's the only way Mark really gonna go toe-to-toe with Omni-Man and be the only person that can beat him. Same thing with Battle Beast. Like, Mark has to continue to grind and push himself, bro. Mark has to. So season 2, I need season 2 to start off with a training montage. I need to see Mark working out. I need to see him fighting people and kicking the shit out of people and not being fazed by any attacks. I want to see Mark damn near. He need to live up to the name Invincible at the beginning of season 2.
This is going to be the catalyst moving forward, though. He gonna learn that, okay, I know what I need to be to end up going toe to toe with my dad, because he know his pop's gonna come back. He know his pop's over there probably in Viltrum trying to regroup and shit, but he gonna be back because Alan the alien even said it. He said Viltrumites are relentless, like they just not gonna give up on their planet. But something else that Alan the alien also said is that Viltrumites never leave their post, and this nigga Omni-Man left his post. So that they could be playing on that as well. He was like, that could be something that we use to our advantage. So I think it's going to be a lot of people end up working together to stop Omni-Man, because Alan the alien even said, like, you have to talk to the coalition of planets so we can all work together and end up taking down the Viltrumites. They have been destroying all of our planets. Like, we just need to cut them out and then we'll all be fine. So that's something that they're going to play on next season as well. So yes, I agree. That's how season 2 is going to start out. But I think everybody's going to have to come together to beat the Viltrumites.
And I don't think Omni-Man went back to Viltrum. I honestly don't, because he left his post. And when Alan the alien said that, he said Viltrumites never just leave their post. And it's the way Omni-Man left. Omni-Man left emotional, and he left just unwilling to just kill his son. You can't go back to Viltrum and tell them that.
But he left the planet though, so he still left his post. Whether he went back to Viltrum or not, he still left his post.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. That's why I don't think he went to Viltrum when he left his post. I think he's just going out the way somewhere off planet in a different galaxy. Because they said once he left the solar system, they weren't able to track him anymore. So I'm like,
you're right.
He's probably just going somewhere far away from everybody and everything And I don't know what Omni-Man role gonna be when he come back. I don't know if he's gonna come back by himself. I don't know if he's gonna come back with Viltrum. I have more faith in Omni-Man coming back by himself in I don't know. Will Omni-Man actually fight Mark? Will they actually fight again for real? I don't know.
I don't think so, because I wrote that down in my notes as well. I said down the line, will Mark team up with his pops to save the world, or save the world against, or save the planet against Viltrum? Because I think Viltrum is going to get word of this, because like I said, Alan the alien is going to tell him that somebody from Viltrum might end up leaving his post. So whether Omni-Man went back to Viltrum, the information that somebody left his post is going to get back to Viltrum, and Viltrum is going to come back to Earth to end up taking over the planet. So they're going to have to save it from Viltrum. So will Omni-Man come back to save Earth and save his son and save Debbie from Viltrum? I think that's something that we will see down the line. A team up between father and son, even though we see all that destruction and everybody's going to hate Omni-Man, but he's going to get back on everybody's good side when he helps save the Earth from his own planet. And I think that's something that we're going to see by the end of season 2.
I don't know about getting back on people's good side, because the whole world just saw you kill thousands of people.
Oh yeah.
So
but we talked about that.
He ain't getting back on nobody's good side, but it'll be like temporarily, okay, he fighting for us. We'll be quiet for now.
Yeah, but we talked about that, and this is going down in all of the shows now, bro. In the MCU and Invincible, all these shows, anti-heroes. So even when we seen John Walker kill a nigga, we seen that people was clapping him up and giving him pats on the back by the end of it when he ended up trying to save the falling truck or whatever. So even when people see you kill somebody, they just gonna see what you did recently. So if they see Omni-Man saving the world, they're gonna be like, okay, bet. So this nigga on our side now. You feel what I'm saying? So they gonna just think somebody was mind controlling that nigga. That's probably what they're gonna chalk it up as. Somebody was just mind controlling him. Now he back on the good side type shit. That's what you can chalk it up as.
I can see that.
Yeah. So I think by the end, that's gonna be my season 2 prediction though. I feel like Alan the alien and the coalition will team up with Earth, and Omni-Man will end up working with Earth to end up saving them from the Viltrumites, because the Viltrumites, that whole planet, trying to take down Earth, bro, that's going to be a lot. Like, you need a lot of help, bro. You need a lot of help to take all them niggas out.
Because if Omni-Man were to go back to Viltrum they're gonna ask him like, okay, you just left Earth, so something must have came up. Like, why did you come back here all of a sudden? And if he tells them what happened, or if they get word of what happened, Viltrum is probably gonna want to kill Omni-Man anyway, because it's like, why didn't you complete the mission? Why
you're not strong?
Yeah, you're not strong. Like, you're letting these Earthlings get to you. You've been there too long, even though 20 years out of thousands of years he's been alive. They're probably gonna think in that little bit of time you really let them weaken you like that, and they probably were gonna try and kill him. That's why I don't think he went back to Viltrum.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So I think Omni-Man will end up spitting this shit, bro, and end up teaming up with Mark. You know what I'm saying? I think that's how it's going to end up. It's going to take a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because Mark's still going to be mad at that nigga. Debbie's still going to be mad at that nigga. But you got to think about the greater good at this point. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about the greater good. So next season, like I said, I think Detective Amber will turn into Batgirl. But what do you think will happen with the Mahler twins, the villain from Mount Rushmore, the bald head dude with the red suit? And we got the aliens returning, who returned 3 times in that one episode. We got the Squid Dogs, we got Titan, and we got Battle Beast. What do you foresee for those villains?
The Mahler twins are definitely going to be continuous anti-heroes. I don't even fully see them as villains anymore, because they're willing to work with whoever will pay them the right amount or give them whatever shit they want. So shit, if Cecil tell them, hey, could you help the Guardians out and we'll pay you whatever, or we'll give you whatever type of schematics for whatever you want or whatever, I feel like they'll do the shit and they'll help the GDA. So the Mahler twins are up in the air. If the villain paid them the right amount, they'll do it. If the heroes pay them the right amount, they'll do it. So I see a good anti-hero path for the Mahler twins. The bald dude, I feel like he'll be a villain that will make some good minions, but for the most part, he'll be like an easy sweet by episode or 2 type villain.
And I feel like the Mahler twins will be big in the Rudy plot point that I was saying as well. They're gonna realize what the hell Rudy has going on, like some subplot that's going on in the background while they're fighting these villains that they're fighting every episode. And the Mahler twins will be somebody that's key in giving them information on what the hell Rudy has been doing and how can they take him down. Like, then the Mahler twins gonna have to tell him, like, he has a neural link. Y'all have to take this neural link out of his head so he can stop controlling all of these drones that we're going to end up seeing that he has control of. So the Mahler twins will be big in that, because they were the last people to actually work with him when he was like a blob or he was just like a robot. So they were the last people to work with him. So I think they're gonna be big in that plot as well.
And
so
Battle Beast has to die. I need Mark to beat the
he
fuck.
not gonna die.
Mark needs to beat the fuck out of Battle Beast, please. If Mark does that in season 2, I'm gonna chalk it up and say he could beat Omni-Man ass. If he beat the fuck out of Battle Beast, he's definitely gonna beat the hell out of Omni-Man, no doubt.
I'm still scared. Actually, after this episode, I was about to say I'm scared of Battle Beast more than Omni-Man, but after this episode, Omni-Man just don't give a fuck. Omni-Man just don't give a fuck. But Battle Beast still tough, my nigga. Like, I still haven't forgot about episode 5 when that nigga was killing the Guardians of the Globe and all of them niggas, bro.
Crazy.
I have not forgot about that episode. That nigga is right up there with Omni-Man, my nigga. Toe to toe for real. He might not can fly and all that shit, but he toe to toe in terms of power. So I'm scared of that nigga Battle Beast, bro. That's gonna be tough. But that will be like the last fight before we see like the last episode, probably of season 2, when Viltrum ends up coming down on the planet. So we're gonna be like, oh, this nigga this nigga Invincible really has it now. Like he going toe to toe with Battle Beast. He really has it. So yeah, bro. And Titan, what's gonna happen with Titan?
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with Titan because it's like his motives. Like I don't understand his motives anymore. Like you were just complaining about how this one dude was ruining the community. But now that your family's straight, you're okay with ruining the community. So I don't even know what his morals are. I don't know if he's really, really a bad guy or if he's just doing a necessary evil to make sure his family's okay. So I don't even know what his true morals are right now.
Because we seen somebody it looks like in his scene, it was like some type of Chinese dude ended up walking in the room and he turned into like a dragon or something like that. So I don't know what the hell Titan got going on, but he working with some Chinese folk or Asian folk and they turning into dragons. So like I said, I don't know what he got up his sleeve, but it's some interesting shit, bro. Definitely some interesting shit. And I think that's it. I'm not really worried about the aliens returning. They already beat their ass multiple times. Not worried about them niggas, bro. But yeah, we gave all our theories, bro. You got any more theories for season 2?
I really would love to see a costume change. That if they go off of the comics with anything, like I think a costume change would be very cool. Because like we said, the way they turned the entire logo of Invincible to like blood and black at the end of the final episode, I think Mark having a costume change will be a great thing. And that'll be like the one thing that they just totally went opposite of with the comics. Because everything else has been verbatim, basically, of the comics.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we've been renewed for seasons 2 and 3. It is official. 2 and 3 has been renewed. So this shit will not be over in 2. Man, I said this on Twitter, bro. This show has potential to be the greatest cartoon ever. This is one of the best season 1s that I have ever seen. Like in shows, period. And like so many ups and downs. The end of season 1, like. My nigga, this shit has been one of the greatest shows I've ever seen for real. So I just know it's going to continue, bro. If they're going to go straight from the comics or whatever the fuck they do, this shit has been great.
And I hope they have more episodes. Like the more seasons they go. I don't know if it's going to be 8 episodes for each season. I love to see them stretch it to 10. But I don't know if the episodes will be as long if they do 10. So I
exactly. But you remember at the beginning of this season, they dropped 3 episodes on the first weekend. So that's what really sped up the season. So you know what I'm saying? So because we ended up catching it when it was episode 4. So it was just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was really only 2 weeks when we actually caught on onto this show. So I think it will drop like one episode each week type shit. So it'll make it feel longer, the show feel longer if they do it like that. Because this was only 5 weeks. Like we done with the show in 5 weeks.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, man. But great show. Definitely appreciate everybody that has been tuning in for this Invincible recaps. We will see you for season 2. Edgar, hit him with the social medias.
You can follow us on Twitter at QE Podcast 1. You can follow us on Instagram at QANDE Podcast. You can follow and like our Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you can see anytime that we drop new episodes. Our email, QANDEpodcast@gmail.com for any business inquiries, questions, or concerns.
And subscribe to all of our podcast platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are everywhere, so definitely check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube, QAnSign Podcast, and subscribe to my YouTube. Just type in Quincy Hicks into the search bar and definitely subscribe. We appreciate you guys for listening, and we out. Peace.